Hi everyone, it's Eva from Soul GPS. Welcome. Well, this video has been a long time coming. I've had this request for some time now to talk about the relationship between two narcissists. So as soon as my semester at school wrapped up, I rolled up my sleeves and here it is, especially for you. All of you have asked this question. So this video actually is divided into two parts. The two are related, but what I want to talk about is the relationship dynamic between two narcissists and also the fears you may have about the narcissist's new supply, the new girlfriend, the new boyfriend that they are parading in front of you and the whole wide world. So let's get to this. Can two narcissists be together? The short answer is yes, they can be together. And in fact, the relationships seem to be more stable. You can look at it kind of as like attracting like. So if you have felt that you're having, as an empathic person, having wild, intense chemistry with a narcissist, you can just imagine that times 2 or maybe exponentially times 4, and you kind of get the picture. So the two of them are going to probably get at it very quickly and explore this explosive new connection. And there's a lot of talk about them being victimized, because all narcissists, whether you're dealing with someone who is covert, so more of a shy type of narcissist, or if somebody who's very grandiose, overt, who kind of lets the world know, sort of the stereotypical salesperson, who's just like out there and showing off. It doesn't matter. They're all victims at their core. They feel like they've been wronged, so they steamroll through other people, and the shy one does it by sort of keeping his head down, or her, happens to both men and women, head down, and being like, the world's been just horrible, and my parents are the worst, and I had a terrible childhood, and my boss is an asshole, and like all this stuff, right? And so they always like have this victim mentality, but yet at the same time it's like, look at me, like I am the world's savior, I am the best thing since XYZ, right? Or the grandiose narcissist is just gonna go straight to that narrative, just showing off, preening, but if you get in the way of the grandiose narcissist in any way, or if you try to have an intimate talk, it is the matter of, hours, days, minutes maybe, before you hear the sad pity story. They all have it. It's a characteristic that is extremely common in narcissists, even though they may tell you, I'm not a victim, because they learn, they watch these videos, even though they may say that, but deep inside, you're gonna see it seep through the cracks. So you can be sure you hear that. So when you bring two narcissists like that, oh my God, they're gonna get into their pity stories. It's like having a powwow about just, all the wrongs that have happened to them. So you can just imagine what that looks like. And of course, there's this intimate intensity. Of course, unless we're dealing with one that's cerebral narcissist, so very much focused on the intellect, and the other one being more focused on the body, there may be a disconnect, there may be clashing there. But if we're dealing with two narcissists who tend to lean towards the somatic spectrum, then you can just imagine what's going to happen in the bedroom, right? It's going to be fiery, it's going to be intense. They're not going to come out of bed for a while, but that can create an illusion, especially if the narcissist is a new supply, or also could make issues if it was a past supply, but about it in a minute. If it's a new supply, then if you have been, dumped, if you have been discarded, then you may feel like, oh my God, they're now in this fairy tale relationship. They're having everything that I didn't manage to have because it's all my fault, right? Because they're very good at instilling in you the certitude that it was your fault that the relationship didn't work out. Don't fall for this. You're going to have to work on this really diligently, because it's a lie. It's a complete lie. So for now, we just have to take my word for it. I know it's a lengthy process to come out of that way of thinking, but it is true. It was a lie. It wasn't your fault. Relationships take two people, but if you're dealing with a skilled manipulator, you can be sure that most likely more responsibility is on the side of the skilled manipulator, not the empath who wants to, please the other person and make sure everything is good and there's no conflict. It's a no-brainer, right? But sometimes you may need some time to think about this. So it can also be an issue if, let's say, the narcissist was with the narcissist prior to being with you, because then they're going to be comparing you to that person all the time, that they were willing to do X, Y, and Z in the bedroom, that they were the best conversational partner, that they looked so much better, and blah, 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 blah. This can also be extremely hurtful. So just keep that in mind, that those relationships do have this sort of fairy tale aura, this tremendous intensity, and the narcissistic partner that you were with now, or you just were, that you're trying to heal from, maybe comparing you to them, right? And that's, again, it's a trap not to fall when it comes to the future person that you're going to be with. If they happen to meet a narcissist, don't compare yourself to them at all. The best thing you can do is just shut that whole toxic world out and focus on yourself and building your happiness. So anyway, so this thing goes on, right? This intense dynamic goes on, but that's until they find out who the other one is. Once they find out that they're of the same kin, the dynamic will start to shift. They will become suspicious. They will start playing games with each other, right? It's going to begin essentially a new stage of outdoing each other's game. Like, think about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? The movie with Angelina Jolie, where she met Brad Pitt on the set. And that, in some sense, began a romance that was, two narcissists in a spotlight, also, trying to outdo each other. In the beginning, when the toxicity is still under wraps, it looks beautiful, it looks glamorous, especially when the stars do it. And a lot of celebrities are narcissists. They're all into the self-aggrandizing me culture, the cult of the self. So if you want to see that in action, you may just want to pick up, a gossip magazine, and you will. So there's a lot of toxic dynamics in those famous relationships. We may be sitting back here and envying them, thinking, oh my God, they must be having an amazing time. But what you have to remember is that they are all about the image. That's what sells them. That's what makes them money. It's all about the brand, right? It's the same thing in marketing. It's all about the brand and protecting the brand. And those people enlist, just huge amounts of publicists, public relations specialists, marketers, psychoanalysts, what have you, to maintain that image of better than. And they're competing with other couples, and it's like, there's no time to do anything else, virtually, just about. So anyway, so they're gonna start to outdo their game. And then when you see these relationships fall apart, especially, you see the ugliness come out, in the custody battles, in the public divorces, in the smear campaign that also tends to be extremely public, people writing songs about each other, and so on and so forth. Anyway, you get the idea. So of course there will be moments of intense closeness again. So relationship between two narcissists is also, like a wave. But it could be like, if they're like this, so one is, full of supply and the other one feels really hungry, then it's going to put one person in more control of the other, and the other person is going to have a terrible time. This becomes especially visible and more chronic, because with two narcissists that are more or less kind of like, you have two boxers that are of the same skill, of the same body weight, they're kind of going to go like this, once one is going to have upper hand and then the other. But if you get put together a narcissist, a malignant narcissist would say borderline, then the borderline is going to be in for a ride of her. It's usually a female, not always, but a ride of her life. It's not going to end well because these people are so insecure to begin with. They're going to have a very difficult time figuring it out, and they may slide deeper and deeper into their own delusions, psychosis, schizoid states, and so on. And the narcissist is going to take full advantage of that and just keep beating that borderline up until collapse. So it's a very dangerous dynamic. So nothing to be jealous of, people. That's what I'm trying to tell you here. So yeah, there will be moments of extreme closeness, but there will be likely short-lived high intensity and then the drop, intensity and the drop. Unless they band together towards common mission, and the common mission usually is appearances, the image, showing off how happy they are together, what an amazing couple they are, taking photos, putting them on Instagram, updates on Facebook, showing their trips together, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. That's why it is absolutely lethal to your sense of self, to your heart, to your sanity, to go out there and look at what these people are doing because you're curious. No, you have to kill that curiosity. You have to bury it. You have to wrestle it to the ground. You can't allow yourself to look at those things because it's going to haunt you. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. It's going to be stuck in your mind. You're going to be dreaming about it. You're going to be thinking about it. You're going to be obsessing about it. So don't do this to yourself. Don't hurt yourself more than you already are hurt. And just drop it, close that chapter, and move on. So the appearances are going to be very tempting, tantalizing, and making you want to think that they're living the fairy tale, of course, but you can't let these appearances fool you, even if you haven't seen anything, but you may be imagining it, which a lot of empaths have wild imagination, and we ought to use it towards, let's say, writing a book or a screenplay or something creative or painting. Don't use it towards imagining an incredible life that the narcissist is having with their new supply. It's an absolute waste of your talent because it's not truth. Why? Because narcissists don't trust each other. They can't. They don't know what that is. They're incapable, which makes them further incapable of intimacy. And what do we crave? If you're a healthy person who wants to feel close to another, who wants to have those sacred moments of depth and intimacy. And I don't mean just sex. I mean talking about issues, feeling you're on the same page, resonating with each other, even in your disagreements, and being able to look at problems and solve them together, being able to be there for each other when one is down and the other one is feeling stronger. If you crave that, you're never going to find it with a narcissist. It's impossible because they love it when you're feeling down, you see. They love it. That's when they're, they feel more in control. They feel like they have power over you, you see. So they can't be intimate. And they're constantly scheming. They're very competitive. They're always looking at what can I do to either maintain my power position or get back into my power position. So remember, at their core, all narcissists are extremely insecure, and their main emotion that motivates their action is envy. They're extremely jealous, which leads to hate, which leads to resentment, which leads to them wanting to, spending most of their thinking energy on how to one-up someone, how to put a dagger in their back. It's a really miserable state to be in, if you ask me, but that's what they do. So imagine them trying to form a lasting happy bond. They can't, right? And let's say that one of the partners gets something, they come home, they share their success. The other person's going to feel jealous. They're going to immediately start to compare themselves because they feel inadequate and insecure, and they're going to want to outdo them. So it's always about what's in it for me. Those relationships are always about that. What can I get from this person? What kind of supply? Is it attention, money, association, sex, whatever? What's in it for me? So, but still, this game of constantly one-upping one another can keep them stuck together for a long time. A lot of it is about appearances. It's like they say in real estate, location, location, location. In narcissist relationship, it's all about appearances, appearances, appearances. What do I look like to the outside world? Because you see, that's going to determine my success in other areas of my life, because people tend to look at each other. You know, that's how we evaluate our value and our position in our hierarchies. It ain't pretty, but it is how we evolved. This is how people determine, you know, their position in the tribe. This is how animals, how primates do it too. So appearances are huge. They want to look good to the outside world. Again, this is the mission of the narcissistic couple that can keep them stuck together in a illusory, highly happy, highly positive, highly full of bullshit, basically, relationship for a long time. But in the end, it's a game about who's stronger, who's smarter, who has more power and control. So you got to remember this. All right, so now let's move to fear of new supply that you probably fall prey into. I pretty much already mentioned this already in this video, but you may be you likely are erroneously thinking that they're more happy now. And I want you to feel that way, don't get me wrong. It's not that that is the truth, it's that this is something that they want you to believe, so they will rub it in your face. They will send you a selfie with a new person through text message, or they will post it on their social media. That's why I want to say it again. Do not follow them. Do not block them everywhere you can. Don't be receptive to receiving any of those messages. And if you do, if you happen to, you know, run across something or someone tells you something, sometimes that happens, unfortunately, where people they think they're doing us a favor by giving us the updates, the news. You know, so-and-so is with this person, and now I saw them, and just tell them you don't want to hear about it. And if they insist, and if they keep drilling the topic, just cut them off from your life. So don't think that they're happier now. They may also see this could be due to this image of feeling they're happier. This could be due to the narcissist's incapacity to actually know and understand what it is to be in a happy, stable relationship. So to them, it may feel like the new person is all that. That's usually the case. They're idealizing this new person, and since you've been devalued and discarded, or maybe you left, you know, and you didn't even get to the point of a discard, then the more they want you to think that they're now happier, right? But they themselves may feel this elation. They probably do, you know, feel this elation, this lust, this new adventure now opening up that they're going to be in exploiting. That will make them feel and look like they're really happy. But again, usually these stages are very temporary, and it's only a matter of time before they devolve into, you know, just the jungle law. I guess I don't know how else to call it. There's very little civility in those relationships. It's all about, you know, who's winning. So yeah, and they did it the same way. If they're doing this to you with their new supply, they probably did that when they were idolizing you and they were breaking up with the ex who was crazy, nuts, and just, you know, all out horrible. So remember this whole concept about the image. Don't follow them on social media, and remember that these people don't change. They will only enter this stage of the honeymoon, so they temporarily feel the elation, but all that is going to change the moment they're found out, or they find out that their supply knows something about them, or that the supply doesn't follow their program, or they simply get bored. So stop thinking that it's all roses, rainbows, and unicorns out there, people. This is really important. That's my message to you. These are your projections, because you're capable of creating a beautiful relationship. So you think that everybody else, including the narcissist, is too, but that's just not the case. So I hope this was helpful. Sending you really, really warm hugs. Hope everyone is doing well, and I look forward to your comments, questions, and yeah, just reading about what you have to share. So big hugs, and I'll see you next time.